So welcome. Thank you all for coming here. Let me ask you, of you ladies, is there a part of your life or something that you want to do that you're not doing right at this minute? Okay. Do you find that parts of your life get taken over with work, with responsibilities, and when you get home or when you get to bed, it's like, I haven't done anything for me? Anybody find that? Well, that means you're in the right room. Can I have that chair? That means you're in the right room. My purpose and passion is to help you find your purpose and passion, and to know that you can live the life you want, because we are told and we are conditioned to say you can't, that you have to compromise, and there's things that you just can't do. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about not cooperating with people, going, oh, I'm doing exactly what I want and you lot can just get stuffed. Okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about, yes, you can collaborate. Yes, you can work with people. Yes, you can cooperate. Absolutely big tick, because that's a win-win. But if there's two of us and I compromise and you compromise, is either of us doing what we really want to be doing? I just wanted to get that bit out of the way. For me, there's 6 steps that you need to live the life you want. And through my experience of working with ladies like yourselves, is the first thing is knowing what you want. So how many of you, when you're working and doing it, how many of you like, I know exactly what I want and I'm clear on what I want? No hands come up. Ooh, coming in. You need to grab some more chairs and some tables. So the first thing then is to know what you want. Because, for example, to be in this room here at 2:15, first of all, you had to find out where the room was, and then it's like, well, you've come to see me, which is brilliant. You wouldn't have just come and wandered around and hoped that you would get there. You would put some planning in, you'd put some forethought in. So why don't we do that with our lives? Okay? So when you're clear on what you want, that really, really helps. And some people say to me, well, Max, I don't know what I want. I can sit and think, but I just don't know what I want. How many are like that? You just don't know, okay? A lot of people, and the way we're conditioned in society, we certainly know what we don't want, correct? Yeah? When we know what we don't want, why don't we just turn it around so we know what we do want? It was really interesting. The other day, a friend came to stay with me, and he said, right, what shall we do? And I went, I don't know what I want to do. You know, when you're in that mood where you think, oh, I don't know, you decide. And it's like, no, we're doing what you want to do. And I said, well, I don't want to go to the town centre. I don't want anywhere busy. And I don't want this. And I thought, walk your talk. So it's like, okay, I don't want anywhere busy, so I want somewhere that's quite quiet. I want somewhere that's different. And so once I started to say what I wanted, it's like, okay, we'll go there. And it was like, oh, that's a bit of a revelation. So when you know what you want, so if you don't know what you want, write that down first. And then flip it. Okay? I don't want a job that's full-time. Well, maybe you want one part-time. I don't want to work 9 to 5. Well, what hours do you want to work? I don't want to feel bad about myself. I don't want to feel ill. So what do you want to do to make you feel better? So that's the first step, knowing what you want. Some people know what they want, but then it's like, who, me? Little me? I couldn't possibly do that. How many of you are like that? Do you know what? Who are you not to? When it's your intuition and you knowing that that's what you want to do, it's giving you a knock on the door to say, hey, this is you. We're all here as souls to live and grow. And we're all here with our special something that we bring being around here now. And we're all like jigsaw pieces. And everything fits together in a beautiful picture. And nobody's better than anybody else. No one thing is better than anybody else. Because I'm stood here talking to you, I'm not better than you. Okay? Be that. Some of it is about your growth. And the picture I get is, it's like a windy road, and you're here, and that's where you want to be with whatever it is you want. And these boulders are there, they're in either an upskill, they're overcoming a fear, and I've forgotten what the third one is, but there's something that you need to embrace and change. One of my clients said to me, oh, can I go round it? I said, that's a bit cheeky, that's not the point, okay? As we overcome these boulders, then we can move on to the next stage and actually become that we want. Does that make sense? Does that give you a good picture? When we start to see things as a journey or a process, whatever fits for you, then it's not personal. It's not like, why is all this stuff coming towards me? Why do I have to deal with all this crap? It's like, okay, it's about me stepping up and growing and dealing with it. Does that make sense? And then it stops making it so personal, and then it stops getting so emotional. It still could be challenging. Hell yeah, it's challenging. But it stops being so personal and emotional, and it stops the outward focus. Because if somebody told you, you've got to change, what would you go? Exactly. The only person we can change is ourselves. The only thing we can do is change our attitudes and thoughts to things. If somebody tried to tell me to change, I know what I'd say to them. And likewise with you. Do any of us like to be told what to do? No. Okay? This is about us going inside and finding out what's right for us. Knowing what you want is key. Okay? Really, really important. The second step is your why. Why do I want this? In the main, why do we do anything? We do it because it feels good. If we're doing things that make us feel good, then we're on the right track. If we're doing things that makes us feel good temporarily and we feel really bad afterwards, then maybe we need to think about it. But when we're following what our intuition says and it makes us feel good, then that's the right thing. That's our guidance. If we're following things and it's like, oh no, don't think so, not sure about that. Anybody had a situation recently where it's like, I've got to do this thing, but it's like, it doesn't feel good, or I don't really want to do it? Yeah, don't we end up doing that? When you know what you want and why you want it to feel good. So when you know your why, it keeps you going when it's difficult. For example, if you've decided that because I've spoken to some of you, and some of you are wanting to build a business or do something different, go more into the therapies, this type of thing, because this is why you're here, isn't it? And it's like, well, I want to, but it means making changes. It means making changes to what I do, how I maybe relate to people and things like that. And sometimes it can get a bit challenging. But if you know why, it'll keep you going. It's like, I'm going to get my big girl pants on. I'm going to get myself grounded. And I'm going to do it. I know my why has kept me going through lots of challenges. But then that's because I've opened my mouth and said, I want to help people and I want to speak to groups, and here you are. So, it's whatever's right for you. This whole process is an unfoldment of you. It's not about giving you a diktat. if you do it this way, this is right and everybody else is wrong. It's not about that. It's about you finding you and what's right for you and what floats your boat and what makes you happy and what makes you that perfect jigsaw piece in this beautiful picture. Does that make sense? Now, this is where the crux comes. When I speak to people and it's like, you know what you want and you know why you want it, but it automatically brings up all the things that get in the way. I can't do it because I ain't got any money. I can't do it because my partner, my husband, kids, whatever, won't let me. I can't do it because I work full time. I can't do it because I'm not good enough. I can't do it because I haven't got 3 billion qualifications. I've only got 2.5 billion. You know? Any of you do that? It's like, I'm not qualified enough. All these reasons, what gets in the way of us being that person that we're meant to be. And when we go back to that picture of the boulders, we're here and our dream is there. Those things that get in the way are our pathway. So once we know what we want and why we want it, then all these things come up and it's like, okay, what's come up first? It's like, well, maybe my partner won't let me, or it means that I can't do what I think I need to do for my kids. How old are your kids? 28 and 29. You heard that one? Yeah, and it's like, and are they living at home? No, they're married, they've got their own families, and it's like, really? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not about not supporting your grown-up children and your grandchildren and things like that, but what happens is they've continued with the mothering or parenting as if they were like 3 and still at home. And it's like, hey, do you know what? It might do them a big favour for you to be who you are, for you to show them a way of being through example, and also let them learn some of their lessons and move forward and find their independence. Because again, we want to make sure the people around us who we love are safe and secure and not struggling and not suffering. But sometimes if we keep rescuing, then we're not helping them. Have you ever had, I'm quite independent, have you ever had occasions where it's like, just leave me alone, I need to sort it myself? Mm-hmm. And people are going, try this, do this, and it's going, love you lots, I know you're trying to help, but bugger off, leave me to it, yeah? Mm-hmm. And again, this thing about, we don't like people telling us what to do, but in our love for others, we end up telling them what to do, and it's not always good. So one of the things that can get in the way is our nurturing that we've been conditioned to do, and it just totally gets in the way. And then when you turn your thoughts around, because when you're full, when you love and look after yourself, because this is the key, when you love yourself enough to take care of yourself, your needs, making sure that you feel happy, you're a damn good example to those around you. Think about it, on an aeroplane, what do they say when they drop the oxygen masks? Your mask first. Because if you're, who can you help? Nobody. If you don't remember anything from today but that, your own oxygen masks first. You can't give from an empty cup. And we're all here because we're all carers. We all care about people. We all give. And we all want to give. And it's a joy to give. And it's great to give. But give from a full cup. Give knowing that you're giving that love out because you've got it within you, because you've generated it within you. And a lot of issues and a lot of problems that we have is that we don't love ourselves enough. We don't consider ourselves enough. We give to the detriment of our health and our well-being. And then when we've given a lot, and they're like, yeah, fine. And it's like, the ungrateful buggers. Pardon my French. You know, it's like, I give all this, and then they just sod off and do what they want and don't think about me. Law of attraction. If you don't think about you, you're teaching them how to treat you. You don't think about you, they don't think about you. You love and nurture yourself, they will love you too. Does that make sense? I don't mean they won't love you at all, but you get what I'm saying. And this is so, to me, this is the difference that makes the difference for you having the life you want. Because when I say you can have the life you want, it's like, well, you know, isn't that selfish? Oh, yes. Yes, it is selfish. And we're conditioned and brought up not to be selfish, but I'm defining selfish as looking after self, not taking everything for self and then shoving everybody else in the face and elbowing them in the ribs at the same time. It's not about taking from others. It's about taking care of yourself so that then you can give to others and be of more service. Because we're all here because we want to be of service in some way. It doesn't matter whether we're healers, it doesn't matter whether we're just looking after our family, because that's so important. It doesn't matter whether we're doing things within the community. It doesn't matter whether we're working with animals, whether we're working with humans. It really doesn't matter. It's about what we came to do, to be our soul essence, and bring that out into the world, and allowing you to be totally you. And the irony is, when you know to be you, you allow others to be themselves, because you know what it's like, and you certainly don't like it when someone tells you what to do, tells you how to be, or says, well, that's what women do, or that's what we do in our family, or that's what the church says, or that's what school says. It's like, be you. And when you're you, and when you're feeling good about yourself, and when it's coming from a space of love, then we do cooperate, we do help each other, we do work with each other. I'm not talking about chaos, that everybody's selfishly going off in their own way. Because again, vibrationally, why are you all here today? Why have you come to this exhibition of holistic therapists? Because you're interested. It vibrates with you, you're interested, you want to know more about it. So when we vibrate at a certain level and of a certain interest, then we come together and we cooperate. People who think this is a load of baloney, they wouldn't come through the door. And that's perfectly fine, because they've got their way, they've got their learning, and it's not for me or any of us to go out and say, you need to know this. It's like, if you don't want to know it, you don't want to know it. But if you want to know it, let's have some fun. Okay? The third step then is working with what gets in the way. And you know what's getting in the way because it doesn't feel good. It might upset you, it might annoy you, it might make you bloody angry. It might make you want to punch somebody's lights out. It depends how bad it is and how you've let it go forward. We've all met these people who just do nothing but complain, but they don't do anything about changing the situation. When we just notice what's wrong, when we complain and do nothing positive to move forward, then we just hold ourselves in this pattern. And it's like, well, if you're looking for what's bad, or I say, if you look for trouble, you're going to find it, aren't you? Okay? So let's start to look at what's good in our lives. Because what I do notice with people, especially for us, where we are in that, you know, we do, yes, there's people that struggle, and yes, we all have our challenges and troubles, but basically we do, in the main, have food on the table. We do have a roof over our head, and I can see that we've all got clothes on, which is fortunate, you know, because it's a bit nippy out there. A lot of us have got cars, so we do have a reasonable standard of living. So we do have a lot of good in our lives, and when we look at our lives the majority of us, on average, like 90% of our lives is good. Okay? Yes, I totally accept that there's some people who have terrible lives and they've got lots going on, but even so, it's saying, what is good in my life? Because what happens is we've got a good life in the main, and then we've got these problems, and it's like rain piddling down on our heads and a little black cloud, and all we see is a rainy day. And that 5% just takes over. And it just makes everything feel bad. And it's like, no, okay, this is challenging me. This is making me feel bad, and it's awful. I really don't like it. I'm not belittling the experience in any way, shape or form. But we do have a choice. Do I want to live there and feel bad? Or do I say, what do I do to feel better? What can I do right now to feel better? Might be a cup of tea. Might be go for a walk. It could be, I need a bit of sleep. Whatever it is to do to make you feel better. Because again, in these circles, it's like, okay, you feel bad. Let's find some bliss. We all like some bliss, don't we? But if you're down here, feeling really down and fed up, somebody talking about bliss, it's like, does not compute, yeah? It's like, go away and bliss somewhere else because it's not where I'm at, okay? And there's a reason for that. In law of attraction, we can't move from this down state to bliss straight away. It's just bloody annoying when people try and tell you that. But what you can do is just say, let me feel a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. You never know, you might get to bliss. But when you consistently work on your emotions and the way you're feeling, you can generally feel a lot better than most of the time. When you wake up in the morning and feel great, and it's sunny, how much do you get done? How good do you feel? Yeah? If you wake up and feel like shit, it's like, I just want to go under the duvet, how does your day go? Not good, okay? So when we wake up in the morning, it's like the best we're going to be. So when we know what we want and why we want it, we can go back to that and start the day in the best way. So for me, there are ways that we can start to make those changes, change the things that get in the way, step by step, step by step, step by step. Some funny stories to tell you. One of my clients, she's got a mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law isn't very nice to her. She's always having a go at her and whatever, yeah, to such an extent that she didn't want to go to the mother-in-law's, and the husband is like caught between a rock and a hard place, between his mum, who he loves, and his wife, who he loves. And so his wife said, well, you take the kids, I won't go, it stops the friction. Anyway, we had this call, and I said to her, I said, okay, your mother-in-law's giving all this criticism and stuff. The Buddha says, if I give you a gift and you don't accept it, to whom does the gift belong? If this is a gift of criticism and you don't take it, it belongs to me. Does that make sense? And it shows my need to judge and criticise. It is nothing to do with you. Does that make sense? The fact that I judge and say something about you or you isn't who you are. It's about me being. Because it's not good to judge and criticise. It's not good for anybody. We don't like people judging and criticising us, and even if we feel balanced and good about ourselves, it's still a bit, it's not nice, is it? So that's what I said to her. I said, it's just showing your mother-in-law that she needs to judge and criticise, you don't accept it. And she went, okay. next time we spoke, she says, I went to the mother-in-law's. Because I also said, I tell you what, because I'm a bit naughty as well, really. I said, she says, I'm going to go. I said, take her some flowers. I said, she won't know what to do with herself. And that's exactly what happened. She went, she took some flowers, and the mother-in-law didn't know what to do with herself. And when she did gather herself, she was criticising, but my client took no notice. The other funny thing was that her husband and her brother-in-law's going, so were you, what's happening? And it was hilarious. You know, because she knew what she was doing. She wasn't doing anything wrong and cruel. All she'd done was taken her own power back and said, you can say what you like, but it's not who I am. I'm not going to accept that. And then the consequences was like the mother-in-law didn't know what to do with herself when she got the flowers. And the husband, and as far as I know, the husband and brother-in-law are still going, you all right? And this is months ago. Because when we start to make changes, the outside world changes. If she'd gone to a mother-in-law and went, well, you're a crap mother-in-law and you're always doing this and you're always doing that, stop it. The mother-in-law would have been upset. She'd have probably done it even worse. There might have been a big row, a bust-up, sulking, whatever. But no, she went inside, she dealt with what was going on inside, and that sorted it out. And that's magic. That's the magic of going inside and working on that first. And there's lots and lots of other stories that I could tell you, but we'd be here for too long and they'd be chucking me out of the room. I will tell you one more actually, I like this one. Another of my clients, she's got a gran that she really loves, and this gran does nothing but moan and complain and whatever. And she does it to all the family, and they're all going, oh God, we've got to ring Gran, we've got to see Gran, and she's going to do nothing but moan. It was just legend in the family. And they all felt the same. It's like, oh God. So I said to my client, right, I said, I feel your Gran doesn't feel heard. That's why she keeps repeating the same story. I said, the next time you speak to her, zip it. I said, don't tell her anything about you, what you're doing, your family, or anything. Just listen. And I did that so that my client, I said that so that thinking that my client would say, feel better about the call when she was calling her gran. What I didn't expect was this, and this was amazing. She rang her gran, and her gran went, oh, hello, how are you? How's your business? How's your wedding? How's your fiancé? And when she told me, she messaged me, it was like, my God, I just went, get it. Because I expected a positive result from my client, but I didn't expect that. That was even more magic. So when you start to make changes, do you see what I'm saying? That first of all, it's not selfish, and you don't have to do battles out there. You don't have to tell anybody else how to be to make you happy. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of being than what we've been told and taught. And it's because I teach this, I do it, I live it. And I love it because it's hilarious sometimes. And then when I'm working with my clients and they do it too, the changes, I just keep seeing these changes, these positive things that happen because people have changed their minds about what they're seeing. It's good, isn't it? Do you like it? And it works for everybody. It's not just a special few. It's everybody. And we all have ups and down days, There's days where we're really on it and really good. And then there's days when we forget and it's like, oh God. It is a mental discipline. It is something that we need to keep on with. But we do brush our teeth every day. We do get washed every day, because if we didn't brush our teeth and get washed, we'd soon be smelly and horrible, wouldn't we? And we wouldn't dream of doing that. So this is another thing just to help us find a new way of being, because the way of being that we are, it's the result of our life and experiences so far. So when we learn something new and we incorporate it step by step, we don't have to do it all at once, step by step by step, then it's a new way of being, and it becomes the new normal. And when the new normal makes you feel good most of the time, then that's brilliant. And it doesn't mean there'll be stuff not going on around you, but it just means that you've got your centre. You look for where your joy is, and even if stuff's going, crises and things like that are going on around you, I have stuff going on around me, and it doesn't mean that you don't care, because you do. It just means that it doesn't up-tip you. And when you're not up-tipped, it means that you can give to those who are in crisis, who need your help. Whereas if you were up-tipped too, can't help each other, can you? So it's really, really, really powerful. So that's the third step, dealing with what gets in the way. The fourth step is, you know what you want, you know why you want it, you've dealt with the stuff that's getting in the way, or you're dealing with it, because some of it is a work in progress. Now you make a new plan. And the new plan is, this is what I want. What can I draw into my life right now that moves me towards that plan? And you can start then to build the focus and energy towards that, what you want, but in bits. I'll give you an example. Actually, this is a funny example. One of my clients said what she wanted was to be a professional dancer and teach dance. And I knew she was a gym instructor. She did group exercise and things like that. And I said, well, do you dance now? And she went, no. And I thought, well, if that's what you want to do, then why don't you instead of going to your exercise class, why don't you go to a dance class? Because then you're starting to be around people who are into dance, who know about dance, the teacher will know about dance, they'll know about more classes. It's a bit like getting to know about this, the therapies and things like that. You come to a place like this and you start to get to know people and start to get to know more things. So she said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Anyway, we did the step 3 over a period of time, dealing with what gets in the way, and it turned out that she actually didn't want to be a dancer after all. Sometimes it works that way, but the idea was that if you want to pull something in, then let's start doing that. Let's start getting you in that arena. I said to some of you guys early on that it's my passion to speak to groups like this, and what I need to be is a good public speaker. I go to Toastmasters International, a speaking group. I started a year last January when I was doing one-to-ones, so I found a few more, so that's good. Thank you for coming. But in order to pull that towards me, I joined a group that was good for speaking and helping me to speak and helping me to be more coherent and clear speaking to a group. I hope it works. What is it that you want? I had another client, the one with the gran. She was a therapist and really decided that her passion was horses. She used to ride, she fell off and thought, can't damage myself that much, otherwise I can't work, do whatever. She reignited with her passion with horses. So it's like, she said, I'm going riding again. She went riding again, and then suddenly she's doing equine Reiki. Suddenly she's in the arena of, if you pardon the pun, of working with horses, her passion. So not only does she go riding, she's got a passion for healing, so she's healing horses, her passion. Oh, how good is that? How good is that? And that's what can happen. You just start to draw the one little thing in that you need, and then it starts to gain momentum. And it's funny how things start to take on a life of their own, and new things come in for you. People will come in and go, hey, do you want to do that? It's like, oh, yeah, I was just thinking about that. And again, it adds to the excitement of knowing that when you do these things, it brings it in. Yes. Sometimes we'll have phases where things are not happening and things don't seem to come in, and then we start to push and get a bit agitated. It's like that's when you need to go in because something else is getting in the way, and maybe it's our need to push, our need to want to move faster than our evolution will allow us. So we go back into the third stage, go inside, work it out, and then come back to the plan. What I do is I do 3 projects. One project is around my business, one project is around my health and vitality. I used to have years where my energy was like this. So I come out and go, yeah! And then I go home and go, not good. Over the last couple of years, I've been working with that. I know what keeps me good. I know what keeps me energised. I was talking to some of you guys that when you came by my table about looking after yourself, getting plenty of kit, you know, eating properly, doing things that make you feel good. That all helps your energy. And when you're doing what's right for you and what's good for you, then your energy raises again. So pulling this plan in, it gives you the focus. And the other one I've told you about, which is the public speaking and my own personal development. It gives you focus then, because if somebody offers you something else, it's like, hey, that's a great opportunity, but it's not what I want. It's not what I want. It might be that somebody offers you an opportunity and you go, blimey, that's my new what I want. But at least you know you're heading towards it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the 4th one is make a plan. The 5th one is daily routine. What is the daily routine that keeps you feeling good? For me, I meditate every single day, first thing in the morning. I haven't missed. I've missed about 10 times in the last 20 odd years. Saved my life when things were going really, you know. But what is it for you? What makes you feel good? What meditation makes you feel good? If you want to meditate. Some people go, oh, I can't meditate, but they garden, they sew, they do things that, or you know, that mindful colouring stuff, whatever, knitting, whatever's good for you, that helps you zone out, helps you just be in the moment. That's meditation. Pick things that make you feel good. Some people like to make a lot of noise and jump about. That's not mine. But it works for them. You know? So, daily routine, things that make you feel good, keep you together. Because when your vibration's high in the day, and you keep yourself in a good place, then again these good things happen. It's like waking up in a sunny day and everything goes right. You can create that sunny day, whether it's hailing, raining, whatever, gales or whatever they're sending over from America these days, you know. It can still be a sunny day for you. Okay? And the final one is being around like-minded people. I've got them the wrong way round, but anyway. Being around like-minded people, if there's something that you want to do, then be around people who are doing it. Becomes normal. You know, if you want to be a therapist and you come to one of these, you see therapists in action and you can see what they're doing. It's like, oh, you can do a leaflet, you can do that, you can do that. Begins to be normal. Like my client who went back to the horses. It's like, oh wow, I'm back with the horses, and then she was talking to the stable owner, and then suddenly she's doing equine Reiki. Be around the people who are doing what it is you want to do, whatever it is. That's why I go to Shropshire Speakers, because it's around people who want to speak well. And they do. Some of them are really good. When you do that, it makes it your new norm. And again, that can help. And they can help you. They'll go, hey, I'm doing so-and-so. Do you want to come and help? It's like, oh my God, yes. And then you get doing a bit more and doing a bit more. And can you tell me about this? And how do I do that? And then suddenly, you're in it more and more. Good? Recap then. 6 steps. Knowing what you want, number 1. Number 2, why. Number 3, the messy bit, what gets in the way. That's the big bit. Number 4, make a new plan. Number 5, in the right order, be around like-minded people. And number 6, daily routine. There are 6 steps. Now what can happen, these steps are great. I didn't know these steps when I've been going through my journey and process for the last 20 odd years. I wish I'd had me to help me move forward. Sometimes coaching, guidance is helpful. Somebody gives you a blueprint, a plan, something you can work with is helpful. That's what I've offered you today. You've all got a leaflet there. I offer a free 50-minute consultation. Some of it I've said in this, but it will be personal to you because I ask you to fill out a getting to know you form. And this getting to know you form is getting to know about you so that I can make it relevant to you. I don't use it for anything else. Okay? So we do that. Then, with your permission, if you're interested, I'll tell you a bit about what I do. And if you like it, we'll talk more. Good job. If it's not for you, perfectly fine. Because like I said earlier on, not everything is for everybody, and that's fine. Whatever happens there, we'll move on to the last bit. And from what we talked about at the beginning, we'll do some coaching. And you will come away with one piece of coaching to help you move forward on this plan. Any questions?
Where are you based? I haven't got the leaflets.
Right, yeah, I'll give you the leaflet. I'm based in Shifnal, but I do Skype, so I can talk to anybody, anywhere, as long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection.
Wi-Fi connection, mine is really weak.
We can work something out.
Sorry, that sounds like a barrier, doesn't it? It's just the fact that I'm trying to get mobility, you have to go on a waiting list with these things. It is very unpredictable, put it that way.
Come and talk to me, we'll sort it out, one way or another.
Do you mind if I get a book something at 3 o'clock? That's
Go.
all right. Sorry, I'm not being rude. It was brilliant. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
my pleasure.
Yes, it was.
Okay,
Really.
thank you. Well, let's just wrap it up then. So thank you ladies for coming. It's been a delight to speak to you. And I really, really hope that you've got something from it that you can move forward with.